Hello, I'm gonna be checking my chat on the phone. It says but my connection is excellent. I'm gonna be a bit quiet because I have no clue. I'm here on my little cubicle, my little hostel cubicle in Kyiv. I've just arrived and I have no clue whether or not people will be angry at the noise. I have no idea how fluent this whole stream will be. I'm in bed. There is not enough room for me not to be in bed. Hello, I'm just here to watch a trash fire. What does this crown mean? Hello, I don't hear any background noise. Oh, what I meant is if I speak too loudly, people in the rooms next to me might get angry. I'm worried about my noise, not background noise. So you know. What is the crown? It says that you're the best viewer for some reason. What do these crowns mean? I have no clue. Did you all donate to me or something? Uh-oh. Oh, now it says that my connection is not excellent. Suddenly my internet became not excellent. Well, what do you know? How is everybody? Well, that is the price that I pay for being in a cheap hostel. I'm not even sure if I'm still live. Hey, Trump. I think it's chat engagement. Oh, okay. Nice. Can you still see me? How is the stream? Let's see if there's anybody in the other chats. Hold on. I'm checking it on phone. I wanted to cover some news, but I'm not sure if I'll be able to with this sort of quality. Oh my goodness. Oh my gosh. Wow. It's fine now? Okay, that's good. It's not fine on my end. On my end, it's horrible. What? What the hell? Incub is here. I can see on the screen. Hold on. I wonder if anybody is on Twitch live. Hold up. Apologies. The whole setup is a bit scruffy. Scuffed. Scruffy. Okay, we can forget about Twitch for now. So like, I've just arrived. Hello Lucy, how's Ukraine? Well, it's pretty okay. I've just arrived. I've gotten a room in a hostel. I'm very tired. I'm planning to get to different cities this time around. I've got some interviewing to do. I'm tired. Ever since I've been sleeping. I'm on Twitch. Hello, Rob Fortune. So, as always, if you like what I do and, like my style, consider joining lucyhaza.org/live and donating or subscribing. I'll be traveling around Ukraine more this time around if all of my plans come together. And gathering material about children affected by war. Hopefully I'll be able to. How safe is the trip from Poland to Ukraine? Fairly safe. Nothing. I haven't been bombed yet while traveling from Poland to Ukraine. Keep in mind, most people that travel from anywhere in the world first go to Poland and then go from Poland to Ukraine. I'm pretty sure that's true for, I don't know, Mercado Media? There's this content creator called Mercado Media, an American. I think he went through Poland. Who else goes to Ukraine? Dylan Burns goes through Poland, I think. Who else actually goes to Ukraine? I only know those two people that go to Ukraine. Sorry. I don't know any other content creators that go to Ukraine other than Mercado Media and Dylan Burns. Yeah, they both go through Poland because there's no direct connection. You don't have flights to Ukraine. So you have to go by land from I watch him. You watch who? Mercado Media or Dylan Burns? Like, I named two people, okay? You cannot just say I watch him. That's not how that works. So yes, these are my plans. I've already contacted a person that I work with. They say that they are working to arrange stuff for me. And once I get the green light, I might be preparing to go to Kharkiv. And in Kharkiv I might be meeting with Anastasia, maybe. Do you know who that is? I've spoken to her a few times. How are Ukrainian airlines still alive? All flights in or out of Ukraine are gone. I have no clue. But there are no flights to or out of Ukraine. Everybody comes to Ukraine through some European country, usually Poland. You know? Usually by bus. Very rarely people go to Ukraine by a train. Usually everybody, no matter where they're from, take the same long bus from Poland that I did. 13 hours. Of grueling journey. Uncomfortable, grueling journey. So yes. I should put something nice on screen while we talk, while we chat. And I think I've got just the thing. Browser. So I'm gonna show you something cool. You ready? You need something nice on screen while we chat. There you go. This is nice, isn't it? There's another content creator called Lucy Haza who goes to Ukraine. I'm not gonna name myself. It was an honor for everyone else on the bus to meet the great Lucy Haza for 13 hours. I'm not so sure. But the guy next to me was smiling at me nicely when I spoke. When I sort of, Okay, I'm gonna switch. I'm gonna look at the chat on the phone to make sure I've got you. How do I... All messages. There is a train, but it's expensive and it travels less often. Dylan Brands is interviewed by In Time, if you know them. I know them. I've been on their show. I've been invited by In Time. In fact, I just DM'd them like 10 minutes ago, asking if they wouldn't want me again. She couldn't help but smile. I mean, he was a nice person. How do you like the dog photo? It looks like Fido is smiling. He's like stretching and smiling. What are your plans? So my plans are to do more children content. That sounds so weird when I say it like that. My plans are to travel deeper east. My plans are to go to Kharkiv, meet with a branch of Voices of Children, an organization that helps children in war. I am in bed, yeah. Because there's not enough space in here not to be in bed. Oh, thank you. And thank you very much. That is a nice compliment, even though my face is not such a great boon. So I want to go to Kharkiv, which is further east, and then meet with the branch of the organization that takes care of children's mental health. And then the nice thing that I want to do is I want to go with teams of mental health specialists to go to small villages in the Kharkiv region and observe mental health specialists provide help to children that I guess cannot travel to the city to get it. It's a perfectly chaotic picture, as all of Fido pictures should be. True. So yeah. Hopefully someday I will produce something out of all the interviews and material that I'm making. Does that answer everybody's questions? About plans and whatnot? You're still sleepy? Well, I'm not super sleepy anymore, so I've defeated you, it seems. I've beaten you. Let's see if there's anybody on... Oh, I can see the Twitch chat on the thing. Okay, so tell me, what do you want me to do on this beautiful, nice stream that we've just had the pleasure of starting? News, more chat, or Expedition 33? Because I've got a controller now, believe it or not. Also, my laptop got busted a little bit because my bag sort of just, I don't know how to describe it, decided to break. It fell and my laptop got busted a little bit. This plastic frame around the screen disconnected from the screen. So yeah, one day I'm gonna have to exchange it. The laptop is very sad. Alrighty then, to the victor goes the well-restedness. It's a big bed. When I'm alone in the bed, I trash a lot. I trash around in bed. It's not something to be proud of. I am an unproud bed trasher. Yeah, like, you know, like this. Trash around. Oh, I don't know. Go crazy. Then it's a lot of bad luck. Wait, why? Why is it a lot of bad luck? I don't get it. So I guess tonight is, before I was fundraising to go to Ukraine, and now I'm fundraising to go to Kharkiv in Ukraine. Isn't that cool? Also, I've already taken my hormones for tonight. The busted laptop? I know, right? Jesus. And it's the only laptop I've got. If I lose this laptop, then I've got nothing. I am nothing. I'm nothing without this laptop. At least I would not be able to stream, which is sad. I like streaming. I don't have a microphone as well. It's an inbuilt microphone for the laptop. And I don't have a webcam. It's an inbuilt camera for the laptop. So it's all scuffed. But I do my best, even if the setup is scuffed. I do my best. You're amazing with or without your laptop. No. Without my laptop, there's nothing amazing about me. Let's see what YouTube thinks. We're all built in, it's pretty good quality. Really? Nice, thank you. But none of you have said what you want. News, more chat, or Expedition 33. None of you have told me what you want. Where is it? Steam. I'm gonna turn on Steam. Oh, it's already on. Kindergarten. Okay, one person has voted. News. Okay, we're in an impasse. Okay? Someone should. I don't know. You're still an epic person. That doesn't change if you don't have a laptop. Yeah, but if I don't have a laptop, then I wouldn't be able to stream. And I'd be, I don't know, in trouble. I'm trying to fix my laptop right now as we speak. But I don't think it will work. Oh my gosh, no, it will not work. I cannot fix the laptop. I'm sorry. I apologize. It's busted. It's busted beyond. Oh, wait. Oh gosh. Okay. That dark thing was plastic going over the camera a bit. Feels like a slumber party stream. It does, doesn't it? Perfect. Slumber party at a war zone. Doesn't get any better than this, does it? Don't you wish you had a slumber party at a war zone? Like I do here? This, I hate to say it, but this hostel feels like a tomb, okay? A very small room, and the corridors between rooms is such a claustrophobically narrow corridor. And it kind of feels like this place got hit by a drone or a missile, then I'd be screwed. It feels like a tomb, you know? Without escape, there would be no escape. If one entrance would be buried, I have no alternative exits, I think. There are no windows in this room, by the way. It's underground. Like it's one level underground, this hostel. Without a window, without anything. So it truly feels like a tomb. That if something would happen, it'd be game over for me. I'm in Kiev right now. I'm in Kiev right now, but I plan to go to Kharkiv at some point. Everyone would like to have a party with Lucy. I don't know. I don't know about that. I wish I spoke Ukrainian, then I could be your translator. That's cool. I wish I spoke Ukrainian too. Man, that'd be useful. I speak Polish now, which gets me through a lot of situations, a lot of the time. So, what do we want in the end? Someone should break the tie. Okay? Let me see. Where's my... Oh, that's me. I'm here. 10 viewers. So what are you for it? So what do you do here? In reviews? Yes, about children affected by war. I'm doing... All my work in Ukraine is about children affected by war, and there are literally several subsections of topics that can be done around this topic. How go Zelensky's domestic policies in Ukraine that don't revolve around war? I'm actually not well versed on Zelensky domestic policy. I would have to check. How do you find people to interview? For organizations that support children. I work with Save Ukraine, which is an organization that rescues children kidnapped by the Russian Federation. And then I work with The Voices of Children, an organization that offers mental health care services to all children affected by war. And I work with a press representative that arranges meetings for me, that arranges interviews, and I contact her to, for example, if I want to go with teams that go to small villages, I have to do it through her as well. Wasn't Ukraine pulling out of the Ottawa Convention on landmines? Yes, it is. And in fact, Poland was announcing that it would do the same over a year ago. Because the logic behind that move is, if Russia doesn't care about anything, then what choice do we have, really? You know? What choice do you have if Russia just doesn't care about any conventions? And you've got to get any edge that you can. Also, I remember you were writing some magazines in Poland to publish your work. How's that going? And are you planning to send those news interviews to the magazines? I plan to. I've written a second interview. I've written a second article. I'm still waiting for a reply from one of the outlets. A journalist friend of mine has sent it to an outlet called The New Eastern Europe in Polish. And I'm still waiting for a reply from them. Okay. I'm still waiting for a reply from them. I'm having a problem charging my second phone, which is not good because I have things that I depend on that phone. I'm very happy that I've earned some new viewers. But yes. Let me check something. Hello, my cafe. Also, as always, if you would like to support my work, what I do, etc., why not consider joining lucyhadza.org/live and, you know, so we have 11 people now, so I can ask again. We can chat some more, slumber party style. as I'm in bed in my small little hostel room, which I might as well show you how it looks like. Do you wanna see? You wanna see my hostel room? Copy link. I'm gonna show you. This is where I'm staying right now. This is my room at the moment. So do we wanna chat some more? Do we wanna news? Or do we wanna Expedition 33? There's one thing that I wanna sort of, the Humanist Report. I wanna react to the Humanist Report. If that's okay with you. I wanna. Oh, this is a very nice photo. I wanna put it on screen. There you go. That's the best photo. So what do we do? Decide quickly. Before it's too late. Before I decide for you. And if I decide for you, then it's gonna be like, I don't know, something like Expedition 33 probably. And here I wanna watch a Humanist Report thing on Trump. Trump is getting out of hand. I don't know if you've noticed, but Trump is getting crazy. Overruling the Constitution. Oh, you want Expedition? Okay, let's do it. I have a controller this time around. Look. Have I actually set up Expedition 33 on the, the laptop? Okay. Oh my god. Okay, now it's fine. It just decided that since I plugged in the controller that my microphone must be the controller now. I was like, why is the chat so quiet now? Why doesn't anybody chat anymore with me when I keep talking to you? I was like, are people ignoring me? In Kub, you should consider not being white. You know? I was like, sad. Very, very sad about this development. Oh, there were 11 people here and now there are only 3. I've lost all my viewership because of Expedition 33. This is what I get. This is what I get when I play Expedition 30. This is what I get when I try to have fun. It's a good game though. That or the stream died because of the internet. Apologies for the crunching and the munching. I should have done this while I was muted. How can I believe everybody left me? Hold on. That was funny. What do you mean I'm still here? Thank God. Thank God. Thank goodness you're still here. To, for us to experience things together. Did you sign the Stop Killing Game petition? I don't know what it is. What is it? What game is being killed? I'm gonna kill him for killing the game. Oh! I got a new weapon that's electric. Verso. Wow, Verso has so much HP. Feels like a waste of points. An initiative to require developers to have an end-of-life plan for their game and stop the practice of shutting down games and locking players out of the game they bought is currently trying to get 1 million signatures, so the EU has to look at it. I'll sign it if you link it. I'm all for it. I just happened...
I know they're Neverons, but witnessing the sorrow of others, I can't help but feel for them.
A noble but tremendously fatal impulse.
I just happen to play games that are complete on release, okay? Like this one. There doesn't need to be an end plan for this game. It's just finished, okay? And these are the games that you should be playing. Games that are just completed. That you don't need some end plan for because, you know, they're complete on release as games should be, ideally. Hello Lucy, are you winning yet? Yes. Vladimir, guess what? I'm in Ukraine. Well, it's in the title, so you know. But you don't know what I'm planning to do in Ukraine. I mean, you probably do, but... I mean, does the game have any DRM? What is DRM? My goodness. Dual Romance Manticore?
Let's carve a path.
Wow. Double burn. Double burn. Who's getting double burn? An item. I can smell the item. Look at this. Can be used to upgrade weapons to level 19. I feel like it should do some news. I feel like people are not interested in playing a game, even though it's a really cool game. It's a digital rights management. It's a piece of software that basically only exists to prevent piracy. I don't think this game has that now. Carve a path. I don't think you can avoid this.
Oh well.
Whoa. Excellentissimo. Excellentissimo, as they say in French, because it's a French game, so I have to speak French when playing it, of course. I have no idea what you're referring to, unless you're planning to date me. That would be kind of a surprise. Do you want to date me, Vladimir? Are you proposing to me? I mean, you are in Ukraine, so we could meet up if you really want to date me. If you want to date me, then you have to take me to dinner first. That's the rule. Ay, ay, ay. Are you in the Kyiv region? I'll be traveling to Kharkiv soon, I hope. If everything goes to plan. This is such a good game. You heard it here, everyone. You heard it here, all of you that are still watching the stream. Vladimir has proposed to me officially, saying, I wanna marry you, Lucy Khadze. I wanna marry you more than ever before. And I'm like, oh my gosh, really? Oh my goodness. You know, right? That Obscure doesn't have DRM, but FF Tactics has DRM. Oh, you're kidding. Final Fantasy Tactics has that? No, I'm really signing the petition, thank you. I did not know that. Now I'm wondering if I should get Final Fantasy Tactics, if that's true. I like owning my games, thank you very much. Even though that's not a thing on Steam, owning games. My god, the state of games is so bad now that you think about it for more than 5 seconds. That's horrible. The fact that you don't get the games that you buy. Yeah, I think I'm gonna sign the petition. Because this is ridiculous, actually. Oh, you bought this game, but you only sort of kind of are allowed to use it. This has been a problem for a long time. Yeah, thank you. It's ridiculous. Of course I'll sign. Who wouldn't? Only lunatics would not sign this. Thank you. I'm gonna do it after stream. Perfect. This is why Obscure Expedition is such a good game.
Brace yourselves.
Who the hell is this? Killing me on Mount Row.
Not impressed.
Pirate Software is against it. Are you kidding me? You cannot be serious. Is Pirate Software really against it? Is this my golden opportunity to do drama content without it being drama? For me to actually do a segment criticizing him for being against this? This is my golden opportunity to tap into the drama market without actually doing drama. I feel like. Can you link anything to me that is about him being against it? There was been a whole shit show around that because, okay, you have to link something to me about this because this is ridiculous. What? Pirate Software does not like owning games, is that it? I think I scared Vladimir away.
Ready to evade.
How many attacks does this guy have? Are you kidding?
Watch out. Not impressed.
What's wrong with this enemy? I feel like... Okay, it's a long video, but it covers everything. And it's from the creator of the initiative. Do you want me to cover this on stream? Also, the YouTube chat got quiet. I think I've made Vladimir nervous by officially disclosing that we are now engaged. I'd be down to see your perspective. I might get angry watching this, though. I don't know. I have no clue what has to be in your head to be against owning games. Like, you have to be...
Careful now.
Have no clue what's going on in your head. If you're against that.
Brace yourselves.
I keep dying to this one monster. How many attacks does this guy have?
Danger.
Do I get to attack ever?
Not impressed.
I'll do it.
I don't think you ever get to attack. I think you have to parry his every skill. I think you can only beat this enemy by parrying, which means I will never beat this enemy. Hold on. Okay, so this fight can only be won by parrying because this boss has infinite amount of rounds. So you can only beat this boss by parrying, which I have no clue if I can do that actually. I'm not super confident that I can do this. Unless someone decides to donate, in which case, you know. Where's Dr. Jones, by the way? Dr. Jones promised me to be here. He has betrayed me. Okay. Let's try this again, okay? I don't know. Let's try again. Okay. You're gonna witness me learning how to parry. I only didn't parry one hit, and that cost me.
Bring it on.
We're trying again, okay? Pirate software drama is not that important unless you're drama farming. I have more spent watching Big Beautiful Bill drama. Okay, Big Beautiful Bill is not drama, okay? It's literally a policy that will affect millions. I think the Big Beautiful Bill goes a little bit outside of the realm of drama, personally. I mean, we can cover both dramas.
Take cover!
Oh my god. I suck at parrying.
Careful, Verso.
This will take me a while to learn. Oh my god. This will take me a while to learn. Apologies. Okay, 4 more tries and then we do topics. Because I feel like you're not really interested to just watch me do this. I feel like this might not be fascinating for you. Oh my god.
Watch out.
I'm learning.
Danger!
There's going to be huge drama with a little dramas in between, so yes, it has to be dramatic. I've been here. Oh, hello, Dr. Johns. Didn't you want to play games? Why did you betray me, Dr. Johns? Why did you abandon me? Okay.
Watch out!
Okay, I died.
Not impressed. Bring it on.
Almost. I've almost parried everything. We're gonna try again. We're trying again. Also in battle, the game slows down. It's not super cool FPS anymore.
Not impressed.
I'm struggling.
Ready to parry.
One more time. Okay, one more time. And then we're gonna do stuff. Obscure. My goodness.
Watch out.
Ah. Oh my god. That could have been my big moment. Could have. That should have been my big moment. One last time, okay? One last try. And then we're gonna do the whole thing. Let me see. Okay, the Twitch chat has abandoned me officially. Alright, I feel like we can get more out of this. Woo! That's better.
Incoming.
Yes! Excellent.
I'm ready.
That's better.
The storm is coming. Feel the burn.
What do I do? Hello, fake Cal Parker, you're white. Also, we're gonna do some news. Thank you. Oh yeah, there's something that I really want to do about Trump. Okay, we're gonna have to put the gaming thing on hold because I actually want to talk about Trump not caring about Constitution.
Get ready. Careful.
I parried this perfectly once.
Vesto, dodge!
Oh my god. Almost.
It likes you.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay, one last try. Can I try it one last time? Please? I got pissed. And by pissed, I mean angry. Not drunk. It's so annoying. This is a difficult fight, so I can forgive myself a bit. I can give myself some leeway. I feel like. But thank you for contributing to my Kharkiv fund.
Take cover! Ready to parry! Ready to evade.
Just try it.
Oh my god.
I'm ready.
How many hits? Okay, we're gonna try this again. That's Verso so weak.
Just try it.
Okay, last try, okay? Last try. I swear this is the last try. I swear this is the last try. Last try. Hold on. There must be something that's obscuring me from. Oh, I know what it is. Jesus. That's the thing that's screwing me over. Okay. Okay, that should do it. Trying to turn off as many things as possible to make the true. Listen, I've made progress, I think. I feel like I've made progress. Why do I even bother with the first hit? I cannot get around.
Careful, my L.
That's better.
Careful, my L.
don't learn. God, I suck at this. I suck at this. One. Okay, last. Okay. I suck at this, God. I hate that. I suck at this so much. I should be a pro by now. But it doesn't help that the FPS is really inconsistent. It's okay. This is the last time. What? Fuck me. It's because the frame rate is just jumping from 30 to 50.
Incoming.
It's actually difficult to parry when the frame rate is inconsistent. Because it's like the timing is random almost.
Oh well.
Really?
Please, bye.
I missed one hit.
Your turn to shine.
It's locked on you.
That's more like it. The bitter dregs. Well, yes, another
Really?
dance.
Okay, we're finishing for now, but the inconsistent frame rate makes me really mad. The timing becomes randomized almost, and it pisses me off. Which makes me wanna do it again. Like, the game works pretty well on the laptop, but it sucks when it comes to parrying. Because you parry by frame. And if the frame rate is random, then the parrying becomes de facto random. I wanna react to something. I'm off camera. Keep being off camera. Oh, now I have to turn it on again. Ay, ay, ay. I'm sleepy. Okay, let's watch Democracy Die Forever. Trump already making use of the new powers Supreme Court gave him to overthrow everything. "11 minutes video, perfect." You ready for this?
Decision we can now.
Yeah, things are not well. US.
Properly filed to proceed with these numerous policies and those that have been wrongly enjoined in a nationwide.
Now I can finally screw everybody over, okay? Before, the courts sort of blocked me, but now I can finally just screw everybody over, is what he's saying. Just listen to what he's about to list, and you'll see what I mean.
Basis, including birthright citizenship.
There you go, we're gonna screw over people that are born in the US, no more birthright citizenship, because Trump wants to make America great again by getting rid of everything that makes America great.
Ending sanctuary city funding.
Screwing over immigrants, check.
Suspending refugee resettlement. Freezing unnecessary
Screwing over immigrants again, check.
funding. Stopping federal taxpayers from refugee resettlement. Freezing unnecessary funding.
I have no clue what that means. Freezing unnecessary fundings, because anything can be described as unnecessary funding, so this could be about anything.
Stopping federal taxpayers from paying for transgender surgeries.
Depriving trans people of public health care, check.
And numerous other priorities of the American people. We have so many of them. I have a whole list.
Oh yeah. It is the priority of the American people to screw over trans people, I guess. Thank you, Donald Trump. Welcome back. Muzaffer, this Kanslan, your biceps is so big it kinda scares me. Please don't hit me for real. I make no promises. If you don't behave, I might just hit you so hard. Wait, my biceps is... What do you mean? biceps. What the hell? My arm is literally thin like a twig. And here you are, telling me that I have a bicep. Thanks. If this is your idea of a big bicep, then I don't know what to tell you. Why should I give Imkub a sub? Because Imkub is one of the best viewers. I have to admit, of all the things that somebody could write, I did not expect somebody to tell me that I've got big biceps. So, I don't know. But I assure you, there's nothing to be scared of. Yes. Look at these biceps. Look at these biceps. Look at my biceps. Look at how big they are. It's scary. It's actually terrifying how big my biceps are. What the fuck? Oh, terrifying. And as I'm reading Twitch chat. Why are the Twitch chatters always the biggest weirdos? I'm giving them money even though they don't deserve it and seem like the stinky type. Wow. And now this is gonna be the thing on screen for the rest of the stream, isn't it? I'm a serious political streamer, but what's gonna be visible for the rest of the stream is I'm giving them one even though they don't deserve it and seem like a stinky type. Thank you. Thank you for raising the prestige of this stream, Fake Alec Tal Parker. If you don't behave, I might have to strike you with my huge bicep. Do I have huge biceps? Do you think I've got huge biceps? You need to lock in. That's how you fix it. So you have to tell me if I've got huge biceps. Because according to the Twitch chat I do. And it's scary. It doesn't. I'm scary according to the Twitch chat. My big biceps.
Well, as you heard, Donald Trump has a whole list of illegal and unconstitutional things that he plans to do now that the Supreme Court has effectively given him king-like power to override the U.S. Constitution. And
excellent. I love it when people like Trump, Lucy does not look buff. Well, according to the Twitch chat, I have horrifying big biceps. because she could beat any chatter in a fight because she can ban us. He's gonna turn USA into Gilead from the Handmaid's Tale. True, thank you. Now you should replace it with a not embarrassing Donald, ideally.
Yes, you heard that correctly, and it's not hyperbole. So let me explain. On Trump's very first day in office, he signed an executive order banning birthright citizenship, which is not something that he can do, since that is a right codified in the 14th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution. You can't just sign it away with an executive order, hence why multiple lower court judges blocked it from going into effect. But Trump didn't like this, so his administration asked the Supreme Court to stop lower court judges from issuing these nationwide injunctions that stop him from violating the Constitution. Didn't matter that his executive order was blatantly unconstitutional. Well, no, because the Supreme Court sidestepped the unconstitutionality of his executive order altogether, and they just narrowly looked at the authority of lower courts. It didn't matter if lower courts were right on the substance. The question was whether or not lower courts should have this power to block a president in the first place, even if what they're blocking is unconstitutional.
The answer is yes, that is their job. Of course they should have that right. That's the whole idea of the lower courts existing. Like if the lower court's gonna do anything, then what exactly is the point of, otherwise what exactly is the point even of the lower courts existing if they cannot do their basic job?
And in a 6-3 decision, the Supreme Court said, no, lower court judges should not have the power to stop presidents from doing unconstitutional things, which means that presidents can essentially now do whatever the fuck they want, Constitution be damned. At least for a while. Because sure, the Supreme Court might be able to stop them from doing unconstitutional things, but it takes time for an executive order to make its way to the Supreme Court. So, in the interim, a president's unconstitutional executive order can take effect. So, I mean, think of it this way. If a Democratic president gets elected, for example, and chooses to override the Second Amendment and order all guns to be immediately confiscated, no court can stop them, with the exception of the Supreme Court.
So Trump can now just, send the guard to anywhere where there are protests against ICE, can just deport anybody he likes without due trial, ban trans health. He listed what he wanted to do, okay? He listed all the things that he wanted to do. If these developments do not terrify you, then I don't know what to say. No, I nor my family will travel to the US for a very long time to come. Wow. I cannot believe this. I cannot believe that this is allowed to just happen.
But it would take time for the issue to work its way through the system all the way up to the Supreme Court. And
yes, to address the chat, America is absolutely fucked, and unfortunately when America's fucked, so is the world, because what the US does affects the world. Oh yeah, by the way, if Trump has a sissy fit, he might just decide to block all aid to Ukraine, to drop sanctions, because, even if there are things that Congress is needed, you can just do an executive order now and not give them an executive order all the sanctions away from Russia. Looking forward.
The period where it's going through the system, the president's illegal order can take effect. Nationwide injunctions would have prevented presidents from abusing power, but now anything goes.
This looks comfy. That's because I'm in a hostel and I'm in bed. Hold on. I should show you. I'm literally in bed. Do you see? Because this room is so small that I kind of sort of can't really do the stream from any other place than the bed. I'm really cramped over here. I'm really cramped over here. Don't worry. Maybe soon I will be streaming from my usual place where I stay when I'm in Kiev. But for now I cannot. For now it's impossible. I don't have a chair here. There is no chair here. No chair would fit. Okay, I'm gonna show you again how my room looks like, okay? So this is my room. I'm gonna show you. Just so it's clear what I'm talking about. Oh, there we go. New crazy statement by Trump about Canada being the 51st state. Check. I guess we're gonna have to talk about that as well. Hold on. Copy link. Paste. There you go. This is my room, literally. What do you think? America is the new Nazi Germany. ICE will now be turned into a Gestapo. I mean, who is gonna stop Trump now? So yes, unfortunately, the usual place that I stay at is unavailable for now, but I'm here. I'm in this thing that's on the photo, as you can see. I'm in bed. I'm on this big pink bed, streaming. Welcome, Zoshilix. How are you? I'm in Ukraine already, as you can see. I mean, you cannot see it, but it's in the title anyway. So yes. Excellent. Looks like a nice place, Lucy, even if it's a bit small and without windows. Yeah, as I've told you, if this place got hit by a missile, I'd be screwed. The corridor is so claustrophobic. There's no alternative exit. There are no windows, and when I think about it like that, this place suddenly feels like a coffin or a tomb. Right, let's continue watching.
At least temporarily.
I mean, you're underground, so you're safer than the second floor realm. I am barely underground. I think I overstated it when I said that I'm underground. Like, I'm barely underground. Any missile would penetrate and kill me. This is not the you're safe underground. This is the you take 4 steps down underground.
And in order to stop the president from confiscating your guns, if we're going with the same analogy, you would have to sue the federal government yourself to get relief, because another plaintiff's lawsuit couldn't affect you as a gun owner, since these nationwide injunctions aren't going to stop a president from doing something that affects all people who own guns. Another question is, what would happen, say...
It's fine. I'm going to be safe until I'm in Kiev. But then again, I'm going to be traveling outside of Kiev, hopefully, soon. Which, by the way, you're helping to fund with your donations. Me traveling out of Kiev Hold on. I'm trying to charge my other phone, but I just cannot. Hold on. I'll try again, okay? Can I try again? Please? The worst thing is that this worked before. This has worked before, and I was able to charge this phone before using this exact cable, and now it doesn't work anymore. Whatever. I guess I don't have charging.
The year that all of these guns were confiscated and the Supreme Court ultimately said, no, that's unconstitutional, you can't do that. The answer is, who knows? Our entire legal system has been thrown into chaos because of this decision, and the Constitution is now just a recommendation, not a requirement.
Sure.
Now, with that being said, nationwide injunctions aren't perfect. Activist Republican judges, for example, blocked President Biden's agenda for partisan reasons. But as Elie Mystal put it in an article for The Nation, though flawed, nationwide injunctions make sense when it comes to national issues involving civil and human rights. Issues like, say, the Constitution's very clearly stated definition of national citizenship. After all, one's fundamental...
Yeah, let's just get rid of birth citizenship because let's make America great again.
rights should not wildly change if they miss their exit on the interstate. But because of this decision, Trump's blatantly unconstitutional executive interstate. But
birthright citizenship, constitutional right, true. It is.
Because of this decision, Trump's blatantly unconstitutional executive order banning...
Remember when Trump said that birthright citizenship was just for the children of slaves? Because Trump is the ultimate arbiter of whom birthright citizenship is for and who it's not for. And apparently anybody who is born here from immigrants is just a tourist that comes here for a vacation, that wants to... Children that are born this way in the US just want to hack the system or something. It's horrible. Horrifying.
Birthright citizenship is now going to take effect. And babies born in America going forward, at least for the foreseeable future, might not actually be citizens, depending on where they're born. But assuming the Supreme Court one day does strike down Trump's unconstitutional executive order here after letting it go into effect, what happens to all of the babies that were born who weren't given citizenship?
That is a good question, because technically speaking, the law does not work in reverse. That is one of the basic rules of law. But if something is struck as unconstitutional by the Supreme Court, then that would mean that the decision to make the babies non-citizen was never binding, that was never legal. It would not be changing law in the reverse. It would be acknowledging that the law was being broken. So the harm would need to be reversed. So those children, logically speaking, in my opinion, would need to be made citizens if it's struck by the Supreme Court. That is my interpretation as a person from a legal law family. Because this does not enter the rule that law changes in law that do not work in retrospect, because this would not be a change in law. This would be a recognition by the court that till that point the law was being broken, which is different, in my opinion, at least.
How do you remedy the situation?
You make the children citizens. That's the only way to remedy the situation. You give them citizenship immediately.
Will the Supreme Court retroactively make them citizens, or...
Yeah. Well, not retroactive. This is actually important. It would not retroactively give them citizenship. In this case, the Supreme Court, and again, this is my opinion, I'm not a legal expert, but in this case, the Supreme Court would be recognizing that the children should have had the citizenship all along. So that it would not be retroactively giving them citizenship. It would be saying the children had the citizenship all along, and their citizenship rights were just being violated. That is my interpretation of this, because again, when the Supreme Court strikes down that executive order is unconstitutional, the Supreme Court is not changing law in retrospect. The Supreme Court is just stopping law from being violated. Does that make sense? So I don't think that counts as changing things in retrospect.
Will we have a generation of stateless people living in the country who are denied their constitutional right? It's a fucking mess. And if you watched my previous coverage of this issue,
my internet is not working very well, but it's a hostile internet, so.
which I'll link to down below, I talk about the comically stupid legal argument that the U.S. Solicitor General arguing for Trump made in defense of this decision. First of all, even Kavanaugh seemed stunned by their inability to explain how something like this would be enforced, and Barrett joined the liberal justices multiple times to challenge Trump's attorney on the stupidity of his arguments. But in the end, all six...
Okay, I do want to hear what the arguments are actually for defending this, because this is just ridiculous. I do want to hear those arguments. I wish he would have quoted them. I really wish he would have quoted those arguments.
Conservatives sided with Trump, and Barrett, who seemed
there are certain things in law that are very, very basic and internationally true, and one of those internationally recognized rules is that if you change the law, the change does not work in retrospect. And I feel like this person is afraid of this, that if the Supreme Court changes the ruling of Trump now, will it take effect retrospectively, which should not take place. But again, that is not what would be happening in my opinion. Okay? What is happening is Trump does something unconstitutional. Lower courts cannot challenge it now. So he does unconstitutional things. Okay? And then the Supreme Court hopefully says, no, this is unconstitutional. And this would mean that they would say, what you've been doing with these children has been unconstitutional, and according to the Constitution, which is a thing that has been in effect all this time, so no law is being changed in right now, these children should have had a citizenship. Okay? So this would be not changing their status retroactively. It would be recognizing that they have had it all along. Does that make sense? What I'm saying? Do you understand what I'm saying? Again, at least that is my opinion on what should happen. Does that make sense? I think I know a little bit about these things. I would like to think that I know a thing or two about this.
The most reasonable out of all the conservatives during oral arguments ended up writing the majority opinion, and the arguments she concocts here are so laughably stupid I can't help but question if she was high when she wrote this. Elie Mystal explains her principle.
Okay, I want to hear the arguments.
Reasoning for this is the High Court of Chancery in England, which existed at the time of the adoption of the Constitution. I wish I were making this up, but I'm not nearly creative enough to do it.
Hold on, what?
I wish I were making... Which existed at the time of the adoption of the Constitution.
High Court of Chancery in England, which existed at the time of the adoption of the Constitution.
Constitution. I wish I were making this up, but I'm not nearly creative enough to do it. Barrett and the rest of her Republican colleagues determined that nationwide injunctions cannot be used in 2025 to stop a president from violating the Constitution of the United States because the High Court in England, which existed during a time of hereditary monarchy, did not use a historical equivalent of a nationwide injunction to enforce the laws against Czech's notes, their king.
Why? Jack Don't Do It said no, and I have no clue. I have no clue what Jack Don't Do It said the no to. So I have no clue what to respond to. I'm sorry, Jack Don't Do It. I have no clue what you mean. I mean, in the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth they were, but that's neither here nor there. In the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth, the kings were very much elected, with the caveat that they could also be thrown out of office if the nobles didn't like them. I have to listen to this again, this is crazy.
Existed during a time of hereditary states because to stop a president from violating the Constitution, Republican colleagues did nearly creative enough to do it. Barrett,
I like this photo. Ridiculous.
And the rest of her Republican colleagues determined that nationwide injunctions cannot be used in 2025 to stop a president from violating the Constitution of the United States because the High Court in England, which existed during a time of hereditary monarchy, did not use a historical equivalent of a nationwide injunction to enforce the laws against Czech's notes, their king. Originalism often leads to ludicrous arguments, but this one really takes the cake, or crumpet as it were. We're living in a world where 6 Republican Supreme Court justices use the courts of a monarchy we revolted against as the controlling authority on whether the President of the United States has to follow the Constitution.
Brilliant. Oh my god, this is brilliant. I did not expect this. I did not expect the US to go this crazy. This is the most brilliant thing ever.
And Barrett doesn't stop there. She isn't sure that any American court can make Trump follow the law. It's unclear if she thinks an English court could do it. She writes, "No one disputes that the executive has a duty to follow the law, but the judiciary does not have unbridled authority to enforce this obligation. In fact, sometimes the law prohibits the judiciary from doing so." According to Barrett, the law is a mere suggestion to Donald Trump. She hopes he follows it, but if he doesn't, there might be nothing the courts can do. And to Donald, it's the unbridled dispute follow the law, and Barrett doesn't.
I never knew that the president in the United Kingdom, I never knew that the president in the United States was like a king and could just do anything they wanted, and that the law and that the judiciary branch was helpless. I never realized that checks and balances in the US were a joke. But here we are. And checks and balances in the US are, in fact, a joke. How fun.
Stop there. She isn't sure that any American court can make Trump follow the law. It's unclear if she thinks an English court could do it. She writes, "No one disputes that the executive has a duty to follow the law, but the judiciary does not have unbridled authority to enforce this obligation."
Okay. I have a question then. I already said that in the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth kings were elected, but I'm gonna read this sentence.
Sometimes the judiciary does not have
No one disputes that the executive has a duty to follow the law, but the judiciary does not have unbridled authority to enforce this obligation. Okay. Then I have a question. Who has the authority to enforce this obligation then? What are the checks and balances on the executive to follow the law outside of recommendation and saying, pretty please follow the law? This is so gonna read Jack Don't Do It's comment, and I'm gonna translate it to actually English, okay? The judiciary overplayed their hand, trying to stop every executive order and then let Trump govern the country. They were not following law, they were following their feelings. Okay, translation. The judiciary overplayed their hand, trying to stop every anti-constitutional executive order and then let Trump do whatever he wants. They were not following the law, they were following their feelings because, the president should just do whatever they want. Screw the Congress, screw anything else. The president is king, and the president governing is the president not caring about the Constitution. The president should just be able to think of whatever executive order he, imagines, and no court should be able to stop him. Thank you, Jack, don't do it. It is such deep wisdom. After all, the English courts couldn't stop the king, so why should the American courts be able to stop the president? This is impeccable logic. Okay, Incub says, I don't know if it ever happened, but it's possible. Even though I have said 10 times already that in the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth the kings were elected, in fact. No order was unconstitutional besides the birthright citizenship one, but he will not enforce that until it goes through the Supreme Court. Well, he doesn't. Yeah, he will. Of course he will. Are you stupid? That's the whole point. That's the whole point of not allowing the lower courts to stop him. I'm sorry, Chuck, don't do it. But you have no idea what you're talking about. I guess you're just a monarchist. Jack Don't Do It is a monarchist. In the US, the president is king. Also, there were more unconstitutional executive orders than just the birthright citizenship one. You're right. Anybody that thinks that Trump should actually be beholden to checks and balances has Trump derangement syndrome. You're so right. You're so cool. You're right. Trump should just be able to do whatever he wants. To say otherwise is to have Trump derangement syndrome. Why should British law apply to America? Because British law is the best law, I guess. You should ask Jack, don't do it. I cannot answer this question. I have Trump derangement syndrome. I wonder if Google has the answer. List of unconstitutional Trump executive orders. These are the lawsuits against Trump's executive orders. Oh wow, there are whole pages that track this. I guess those are just... Trump derangement syndrome pages. There we go. These are the lawsuits. Which of Trump's executive orders are being challenged? Immigration. Legal challenges to birthright citizenship. This one you've conceded is bad. Okay? Legal challenges to suspending asylum. By the way, suspending asylum is definitely Trump signed an executive order suspending asylum access at the southern border, stating he has the authority to suspend entry into the U.S. until he determines that the invasion has concluded. Challenge. Immigration advocacy groups argue that the executive order violates the Constitution among other things. So this one violates the Constitution, Jack, don't do it, not just the birthright citizenship one. Okay? There you go. Legal challenges to suspending the refugee program. Executive order. Trump signed an executive order on his first day in the Oval Office suspending the U.S. refugee admission program until such time as the further entry into the United States of refugees aligns with the interests of the United States, whatever that means. That is such a meaningless statement. Plaintiffs argue that the executive order violates the Fifth Amendment. Whoops. Oh wow. What is this, Jack, don't do it? Another executive order that blatantly violates the Constitution. But you know what? I guess the courts just overplayed their hand, because according to you, only the birthright citizenship one was anti-constitution. If they have not been ruled to be unconstitutional, then how do you determine that the birthright citizenship is unconstitutional? Yeah, they are. And that's the job of the lower courts, which is being blocked now by the Supreme Court. The logic being that the lower courts could not stop the king in England. So why should the lower courts be able to stop the president, which obviously, according to the Republican Supreme Court, is an equivalent to a king? Brilliant, Jack, don't do it. Brilliant analysis. If it's not unconstitutional until it reaches the Supreme Court, then how did you make the determination that the birthright citizenship was unconstitutional? You're not the Supreme Court, Jack, don't do it. You've contradicted yourself very quickly. This is so stupid. Executive order. Trump signed an executive order to reinstate the Schedule F classification for certain federal employees. Violates the Fifth Amendment. Thank you. Legal challenges to Dodge. Challenge. Non-profits and advocacy groups argue that the executive order violates Federal Advisory Committee Act. Well, this one's not anti-constitution. So yeah, there you go. There you go. My goodness. But I guess according to you, the president should just do whatever the president is king. That was the Supreme Court's justification for blocking the lower courts.
Unbridled authority to enforce this obligation. In fact, sometimes the law prohibits the judiciary from doing so. According to Barrett, the law is a mere suggestion to Donald Trump. She hopes he follows it, but if he doesn't, there might be nothing the courts can do. Except there was, but she stopped them from doing that. Thanks, Barrett. Really appreciate it. Now, Elie Mystal goes on to make a really chilling point about how the last time that the Supreme Court addressed the question of citizenship, it ended in the Dred Scott ruling, where in a 7-2 decision, the Supreme Court said that a black slave and his family could not be freed and that they couldn't attain citizenship. As you all know, a civil war came next. But Mystal says that the racists are now winning their second civil war without having to fire a single shot. It is really bleak. And the conclusion was equally bleak from Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson, who says, eventually executive power will become completely uncontainable and our beloved constitutional republic will be no more.
Oops. Well, I guess that is what Jack Don't Do It wants. Since, Trump derangement syndrome.
In other words, a Supreme Court justice is saying the American experiment might actually be over. It's not like we were ever a real democracy to begin with, but whatever this was, we're no longer working towards a better version of it. It's just all coming undone. And to be clear, there's plenty of things that have happened that paved the way for our descent into dictatorship, but it really feels like they pulled the final thread that made the whole system unravel with this particular case. It truly feels like we've reached the point of no return here. And keep in mind that the same Supreme Court also gave Trump near absolute immunity. So no...
Oh yeah, that's true. Whatever laws Trump breaks during his term, he won't be able to be prosecuted after he stops being president. I kind of forgot that that is something that Trump has secured for himself. Oops. Perfect.
No other institution has laid the groundwork for the death of democracy more than the Supreme Court, the institution that is supposed to protect the Constitution. They are enabling Trump's dictatorial ambitions. And
who cares about the Constitution? Am I right? Jack, don't do it. Only sissies care about the Constitution. You only care about the Constitution if you have Trump derangement syndrome. Otherwise, you would know that Trump is king or emperor or whatever else you want.
And ironically, a former Supreme Court Justice, Anthony Kennedy, is suddenly sounding the alarm about democracy being at risk. Not necessarily because of this decision, but, in general, based on the environment that Trump has cultivated. He said many in the rest of the world look to the United States to see what democracy is, to see what democracy ought to be. Not anymore, bitch. If they see a hostile, fractious discourse, if they see a discourse that uses identity politics rather than to talk about issues, democracy is at risk. Freedom is at risk. He added, judges must have protection for themselves and their families. Our families are often included in threats. Except Kennedy chose to let the man responsible for the situation choose his successor. Kennedy also wrote the majority opinion for Citizens United, one of the biggest death blows to democracy in modern history, a decision, by the way, that this court is poised to revisit and expand upon again, as HuffPost reports. So we've been moving closer and closer towards the point of no return, little by little, but this decision right here could truly be the tipping point. They gave a fascist wannabe dictator who tried to overthrow the last election near absolute immunity, and
I bet Jack Don't Do It thinks that Gen 6 was completely legitimate, don't you? I bet you think there was a peaceful protest.
power to at least temporarily override the U.S. Constitution with executive orders. This is not really something that democracies can recover from. But as I said in my last video about this, if the Constitution doesn't matter and presidents can do whatever they want, Republicans better hope that we never have free and fair elections again for their sake. Because if a Democrat gets in, I want Medicare for all on day one with an executive order. Okay? I mean...
That is true. It creates a precedent in which any president that becomes... any president that becomes president can just undo anything that the last president has done with executive orders. Stupid.
if that executive order inevitably gets struck down, then I guess the Democrat just goes, oh, well, gee golly, I think that it's constitutional, so let me just change it a little bit, and we'll push that through again, and people will have health care in the time being. I mean, there's nothing stopping them from going full Fidel in this bitch. They could seize the means of production at corporations,
That's true. The president could just say, oh wow, through my executive order, all these private companies are just public now, I guess.
nationalize entire industries, throw billionaires in gulags, seize the means of production at corporations, nationalize entire industries, throw billionaires in gulags.
That is true. Until it goes to Supreme Court, I guess Google is a national company now.
All without congressional approval, apparently, since no lower court can stop him. And whatever a president does, well, there's going to be a period of time where...
You're okay with that, right, Jack? Don't do it? You're okay to be thrown in a gulag via an executive order until it goes to the Supreme Court?
that has to be adjudicated in the system and has to work its way all the way up to the Supreme Court. And according to Amy Coney Barrett, well, they might not even be able to stop the president. I mean, Kavanaugh says that the Supreme Court, in his concurring opinion, can stop them, but it's kind of an open question according to the person who wrote the majority opinion. So this is what happens when you open the door to dictatorships. We didn't ask for this. I don't want to live in a dictatorship, but this dictator-like system was forced upon all of us by power-hungry fascists. So if Republican presidents are effectively kings, Democratic presidents are effectively kings too. This is the bet that Republicans have.
That is that is the stupidest logic I've ever heard, and I cannot believe that I've heard it from the Supreme Court of the United States, that because the decisions of kings in England could not be blocked by lower courts, that means that the decisions of presidents of the United States cannot be blocked by lower courts. That is, the reasoning behind this is just mind-boggling. I am mind blown. My mind is blown.
Have made for our country, and they have to line it too. They have to deal with the consequences of the system that they created for all of us. So buckle up, because the next president better be unfucking restrained. I expect the most transformative agenda in American history. I expect an FDR-like president, all through executive orders. This is what Republicans wanted, so this is what they're gonna fucking get.
True. And Jack Don't Do It is gonna clap like a seal to the tune of it. Didn't England had both kings and a parliament while the king had more power and authority? Yes. Yes, that's right. Also, if you like what I do, if you like my values, if you like my principles, if you like me as a person, then why not consider donating or subscribing by joining the page lucyhaza.org/live. Have you considered doing that? Have you ever considered such a possibility? I think that Jack Don't Do It likes what's happening. Okay, we're gonna look at this next. Speaking of birthright citizenship and other stuff like that, copy link, paste. This is interesting. Trump's DOJ issues memo on plan to strip citizenship from some naturalized Americans. And I'll let you guess who they have in mind. There has been a certain very successful New York politician running for, I believe, mayor or something like that. They've done very well so far. So they're a progressive, very progressive agenda, very popular. So they must be stopped. And what's the best way to stop them? It's to make them non-citizens, of course. As the White House press secretary openly floats the idea of investigating New York City mayor candidate Zoran Mamdani to possibly strip him of his citizenship, yes, because when your political opponents are doing too well, when they are too progressive for their own good, they must be stopped. They must be stripped of their citizenship. I will play Jedi Last Survivor if you gift it to me. Or if you donate enough for me to get it. Okay. Let's continue reading because this is interesting. I find this very fascinating. A very effective way to deal with your political opponents, I would say. After a bigoted proposal from Rep. and Andy Ogles, R10, and the administration appears to be revving up its denaturalization plans. True. NPR reported, National Public Radio, I believe, NPR reported Monday on a Justice Department memo from June 11th, which advises also being very quiet because I literally have a neighbor behind this wall and I have a neighbor behind this wall. So I cannot be super loud and energetic, unfortunately, as much as fake Alec Cal Parker would like me to. I think my neighbors in the hostel would kill me. So I have to be very restrained tonight. My apologies. NPR reported Monday on a Justice Department memo from June 11th, which advises prosecutors in the DOJ Civil Division to prioritize the denaturalization of various naturalized citizens over alleged infractions ranging from war crimes to material misrepresentations in their citizenship applications. So, what war crimes have Zoran Mamdani committed? In his first term, Trump expanded former President Barack Obama's denaturalization policies. An expert told NPR why the new memo's call to use civil litigation for his efforts is particularly disturbing. And here's the quote. The DOJ memo says that the federal government will pursue denaturalization cases via civil litigation, an especially concerning move, said Cassandra Robertson, a law professor at Case Western Reserve University. In civil proceedings, any individual subject to denaturalization is not entitled to an attorney. Okay, that sounds on brand with Trump. No attorney, no due process. These things are relics of the past, it seems. Relics of the past. Robertson said there is also a lower burden of proof for the government to reach, and it is far easier and faster to reach a conclusion in the cases. Robertson says that stripping Americans of citizenship through civil litigation violates due process and infringes on the rights guaranteed by the 14th Amendment. Who cares about the Constitution anymore? Like, the Constitution is just a joke now, so why even mention, right? Jack, don't do it. Who even cares about stuff like the Constitution anymore? On the heels of Friday's Supreme Court ruling in the birthright citizenship case, which undercut lower courts' ability to stop the executive branch from pursuing policies of disputed legality, it's safe to wonder whether and how the administration might wield its powers to target more Americans. The DOJ memo asserts a broad latitude for interpretation as to what conduct might warrant denaturalization proceedings against a citizen. Oh, interesting. It lays out a list of transgressions, including torture and human trafficking, but also calls on the DOJ's Civil Division to target an individual that either illegally procured naturalization or procured naturalization by concealment of material fact or by willful misinterpretation, and rather vaguely, individuals who pose a potential danger to national security, which basically means this little individuals who pose a potential danger to national security. This part basically means that anybody can now be made non-citizen. Why? Well, if you know history, and in particular if you know the history of the USSR, you would know that it is very easy for the government apparatus to declare basically anybody to be the enemy of the state. Oh, you are an Jack, don't do it. Can I ask you a question? I'm not sure how fast you'll respond. So, do you have a heritage, Jack, don't do it? Are any of your ancestors from Europe? That is an interesting question. Lucy, they passed the bill. Which one? Which bill did they pass? The big beautiful bill. You're kidding me. Link me right now. I cannot believe they passed it. Holy shit. You're kidding. You're joking, right? Oh my god, I thought today's stream would be quick, but it's not. I'm gonna have to go to the toilet in a moment, but holy shit. Okay, what is your heritage? Jack, don't do it. I hope you realize where this is going, right? I hope you know where I'm going with this. So what's your heritage? Jack, don't do it. My mom's side has German in them. Okay, so I have a question for you. If there's a vague clause about individuals who pose a potential danger to national security, and that is a road to denaturalization, what is to stop the government from declaring you a German spy and saying that you pose a danger to national security, therefore should be denaturalized? What exactly is there in the way of doing that? You have German heritage. Maybe you're not as loyal to the United States as you claim. Yeah, that's the whole point. That is why you should not be able to denaturalize citizens based on potential danger to national security, because as you've pointed out, anyone could be a spy, which means anyone could be declared a spy, and therefore a danger to national security, which means de facto that anyone can be made non-citizen at any time. Thank you. Brilliant. I'm so happy that we've come to a consensus on this. Given that Trump has labeled critics as the enemy within, has falsely framed peaceful demonstrations as accomplices to terrorism and has declared his ambition to deport American citizens to foreign prisons, the potential for abuse here seems incredibly high. I mean, how do I know you don't support terrorism on, how do I know you don't represent Germany and that you don't want to do terrorism in the name of Germany? I don't know where your loyalties lie. Your heritage is German. I'm gonna be right back. The big beautiful bill passed. I have to go to the toilet. I'll be right back. My lovely viewers, in the meantime, if you like what I do, if you like my values, etc., and if you'd like to support me staying in Ukraine and not going bankrupt, then consider donating. I'll be right back. I'm going to the toilet. What a beautiful stream so far. back. Hello. So yeah. Also, Jack Don't Do It said something hilarious while I was away, so I'm gonna say it. Hold on. Did you see that Senate passed the big beautiful bill? Yeah, I should give you my address, Jack. Don't do it. You're right. I should. What do you mean? What part of Ukraine and what hotel? What do you want? Why do you want to know what hotel I'm staying in? What? What? Or do you plan to visit me in my room? Where do you stay in and what hotel? The chat is really weird today. The chat is really... The chat is particularly weird today. The chat is being wacky today. My goodness. Embarrassing. Apparently he's scared of his neighbors. Wait, what happened to respecting my identity as a trans person? Jack, don't do it. What happened to respecting my gender identity? Jack, don't do it. What does the big beautiful bill entail? Think any crappy thing Trump can wanted to do and cramp it all into one bill. That's the big beautiful bill. Why are you targeting me? Because you're the only person in the chat that misgendered me and nobody else. But you're the only person that didn't like. That is so strange. Misgendering. True. That is what happens. Sad times. So we've looked over this. Hello, Snare 97. You should consider not being white. So that happened. I wanna see. Oh, that's why. Okay. I see now. That makes sense. We might try. I have no clue what that means. DXP in the chat. Actually, I think it's something that YouTube might have just implemented now. Hold on. Wow. So, big, beautiful year passes. We're gonna go with narzędzia. Last hour. US Senate passes Trump's one big beautiful bill. Senate passes Trump's agenda bill after marathon voting. Trump Live updates. Senate passes Trump's major policy. Ukrainian Nazi in real life is Vladimir. Also, hello, Elo. I guess we're gonna go with CNN, right? We could just go with CNN. Already been told that I've got big biceps today. Big biceps. My goodness. Biggest biceps ever. Okay, we're gonna look at this. Senate passes Trump's agenda bill after marathon voting session. I mean, we could look at the big, beautiful bill again. It's what caused the breakup between Elon Musk and Donald Trump. I've eaten burritos bigger than you, Lucy. That is true. Even though Twitch chat seems to think that my biceps are scary. For real. In the US, Trump ally launches super PAC to fight back against Elon Musk. One thing dedicated to the bill. US Senate narrowly passes one big beautiful bill. Global Times. US Senate narrowly passes one big beautiful bill with huge deficit implications. The US Senate on Tuesday narrowly passed its version of Trump's administration's tax and spending measure dubbed One Big Beautiful Bill, which is expected to add around 3.3 trillion US dollars of deficit throughout 2034. Beautiful. This is what I call a one big beautiful bill, or whatever. That is so beautiful. The Republican-controlled Senate passed the bill by 51 to 50 after a marathon voting process that started Monday morning. U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance broke a 50-50 tie by casting a vote. Oh boy. Senators spent the past few days reading out and debating the 940-page bill, which was unveiled late Friday. The legislation includes more spending on border security because, of course, defense and energy production, which probably involves gas and oil, with cuts to healthcare, because why would people need healthcare, especially when the US healthcare system is already so good. It's in fact so good that the US should spend less on it. Hello, Arkael. Arkael, have you heard the good news? The good news being that the big beautiful bill has passed. Make America great again, I say. So, yeah, healthcare is in such great shape in the United States that it should be defunded, which is exactly what is going to happen via the big beautiful bill. Nutrition programs, which, because of course, everybody knows that Americans are fat, and since Americans are fat, that means that nutrition programs should be cut. That makes perfect sense to me. That makes perfect sense to me. Nutrition programs are for fat cells, and the US already has an obesity problem, so I think it's a reasonable measure to try to fight against it. Saturday, federal land. Next. electric vehicle subsidies because we don't need electric cars. The bill oh, by the way, Elon Musk did not like this. The bill extends US President Donald Trump's 2017 Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, which is set to expire. The mega bill would add $3.3 trillion of deficit. Nobody cares about the deficit, so it's okay. Nobody cares about stuff like that. In the next decade, higher than the $2.8 trillion of deficit in the version passed by the House of Representatives on May 22nd. 2.8 trillion, 3.3 trillion, it's basically the same. Moreover, the House of Representatives needs to approve the revisions to its version of the bill, which passed on May 22nd. Earlier, Trump urged lawmakers to pass the bill before July 4th. The cuts of spending on healthcare and nutrition programs and the extension of tax cuts drew criticism from Democrats because Democrats are pansies. They don't understand that Americans are fat and healthy. The overbloated, overpaid healthcare system in the US. When you go to sleep, well, you probably have many things to do tomorrow. Well, Ella, I will leave this to your imagination, who I am. I will leave this to your imagination. That is so stupid, Jack, don't do it, but I'm used to it by now. I'm used to you saying stupid things. The cuts of spending on healthcare and nutrition programs, blah blah blah, already. The bill is the most dangerous piece of legislation in the modern history of our country, and it is a gift to the billionaire class. Oh wait, but Jack Don't Do It said that. Okay, hold on, I'm just gonna read it again. Democrats don't understand we are a capitalist country. We don't give things out for free. So, what is tax cuts to the rich if not giving things for free? What would you call the tax cuts to the rich? Jack, don't do it. I am sorry for you, Ella. You seem to be a troubled individual. Okay. A gift to the billionaire class while causing massive pain for working families, said Senator Bernie Sanders from Vermont in a social media post on Sunday. Incentives. Oh, so it's okay to give people things for free if it's an incentive. Got it. Chuck, don't do it. I guess America's not as capitalist as you said it was. Oh, you're right. It is. I don't know. You have to ask people that. You have to ask people that are in charge of White Forest. I don't control that. Thank you, Ella, for your commentary. The bill is literally a death sentence for low-income and working-class people, said the independent senator in debating on the floor of the Senate. Who cares about working people? It's the billionaire class that counts. So who cares? Who cares about the working class? Republicans are about to make a mistake on healthcare and betraying a promise on medical, said Republican Senator Tom Tillings from North Carolina on Sunday. Tillings voted against a motion to proceed with the spending package on Saturday and announced his retirement plan on Sunday after Trump attacked him and suggested backing a primary challenger, the two-term senator. A few more Republican senators also opposed the bill over proposed cuts to Medicaid, with Alaska Republican Senator Lisa Murkowski, I wonder if it's a Polish person, voting with Democrats on several key amendments to the bill on Monday. It was reported that 3 Republicans opposed the bill in the final voting, including Tillis, Senator Susan Collins of Maine, and Senator Rand Paul of Kentucky. Republicans have a 53 to 47 majority in the Senate, which only allows for very few opponents or holdouts from themselves. So yeah, the big beautiful bill has passed. The big beautiful bill has passed. Let me see the chat now. In 2008, George Bush announced TARP, in which he gave banks $700,000 billion of taxpayer money. But instead of calling this socialism, he claimed this was an extension of the free market, of course. Of course it was. In reality, what is free or not in terms of the market is completely ideologically defined. That is true. That is true. So how do we feel? How do we feel about the big, beautiful bill passing? Seems bad. It does seem bad indeed. Oops, that was 700 billion. That's better. Who cares about cheap change like 700 million? Oh, 700. And you said 700,000 billion. I mean 700,000 billion would have been a lot, but 700 billion, like the amount that Trump demanded from Ukraine in his first draft of the big beautiful mineral deal. I want to have a more nuanced opinion since it could affect me, but it's a lot to process. True. Let's actually check something. Worst parts of the Big Beautiful Bill. Definitely not Maryland. I can tell you that Jack Don't Do It is not from Maryland, the best state in the United States. Tools within the last hour. Florida, of course, I should have known. I should have known. Maybe I'll just write this. What goes into Big Beautiful Bill? The Big Beautiful Bill is being enacted in an ugly way. I wonder if this is paywalled. It's not. Okay, we can read it. Beautiful. Lucy, do you know what Oklahoma is? Yes, I do know what Oklahoma is. Why? What does that have to do with anything? Well, what does that have to do with anything? Oklahoma looks like a hand pointing a finger. It looks like a hand pointing a finger, like this. Look at the state, how it's shaped, and you will admit that I'm right. Just look at it. Isn't Oklahoma pretty well known? It's not some obscure state, I think. Senate Republicans unveiled a 940-page bill with wide-ranging changes to numerous policy areas just before midnight last Friday, planning to vote on the legislation less than a week later. Where is this from? Yesterday. It was put together so quickly and secretly that even members themselves don't understand how certain provisions made it into the legislation. It's very unpopular with the public. And yet, despite all that, the Senate passed the bill, putting it on the path to being signed into law by President Donald Trump later this week. Wyoming? No, it's not. Wyoming is... If Wyoming is so obscure, then how did I How come I've heard of it? I am from Poland. Imagine having a joyful existence in Florida. The bill makes it so individual states cannot pass a law on AI. I know. Marjorie Taylor Greene cried about it. She said that if she knew that was part of the bill, she would have voted against it. But also she also admitted that she has not read it. So, you know. Welcome to American democracy in 2025. We often think of the January 6, 2021 insurrection of Trump using presidential authority to punish his political enemies as the signs of democratic decline in the United States. But another illustration of our broken democracy is that policies enacted by government leaders often aren't anywhere close to the American public's views and preferences, while policies that voters really want remain stalled. That shocks me so much. That is just such a shocker. But then again, who cares about the public, right? Isn't that right? Chuck, don't do it. That's right. In a real democracy, the people would get what they want most of the time, and bills as deeply unpopular as Trump's BBB would never pass, said Max Berger of Democracy Revival Action, a group that works on efforts to strengthen democracy in the US. BBB is shorthand for Big Beautiful Bill. Yeah. An overwhelming majority of Americans favor raising taxes on corporations and the wealthy, and few want them cut. But Republicans insisted on passing tax cuts for the richest in 2017, the last time the party controlled the House, Senate, and the presidency. This week's bill will make those cuts permanent and provide some additional tax benefits to those who need them least. So, yeah, I guess the rich should have just permanent tax cuts because they deserve it. Trump's domestic policy bill is full of policies Americans don't want, limiting campaign spending by individuals and organizations, rising taxes on corporations, percent support of policies in the bill compared to other issues, raising taxes on households above $400,000, making gun laws stricter, reducing taxes on corporations, nobody wants that, reducing medical funding, nobody wants that. I don't think anybody would be stupid enough to be like, oh yeah, I want healthcare to be less funded. That is the real issue that America should tackle. America should cut spending on healthcare. That will make America great again. Yeah. That will truly make America great again. Why is our government so out of whack with the country's real needs and desires? Part of the problem is today's Republican Party, and not just Trump. As political scientist Jacob S. Hacker and Paul Pearson explained in their 2020 book, Let Them Eat Tweets, how the right rules in an age of extreme inequality. GOP politicians at the state and national levels campaign largely on social issues such as immigration, but once in office enact tax cuts for the wealthy and limits on the regulations of businesses. Republican politicians are fully aware that the plutocratic economic agenda isn't popular, but their campaign donors want it, and so many of the lawmakers themselves fervently believe in lower taxes, so they implement controversial economic policies betting that they still win elections on social issues. There you go. Something that everybody has been talking about for a long time now. Social issues are just distractions, and while people are busy thinking about the horrible immigrants, the horrible transes, you can just cut their healthcare. That's beautiful. Beautiful just took the big beautiful bill. So yeah. Trump, for example, didn't discuss cuts in Medicaid and food stamp funding on the campaign trail much last year, and probably won't next year either. The Republican approach is akin to if the Democrats ran on raising the minimum wage, a fairly popular proposal, but then inserted reparations for the descendants of the enslaved, fairly unpopular, into a 1,000-page bill. This instance of passing policies that they know the public opposes shows that the Republicans are wary of interest groups, journalists, and others closely examining their proposals. So Trump's domestic bill is being passed in the same way that legislation goes through in Republican-controlled states across the country. Bills are written in secret and voted on as quickly as possible after their release. Hearing expert witnesses, town halls, and other forms of deliberation and debate that used to be part of the legislative process are increasingly falling by the wayside because the Republican agenda would wilt under such scrutiny. Of course, if you try to pass something that nobody likes, then if anybody, it's like with Marjorie Taylor Greene, who said openly, if I had read this bill, I would have voted against it, but because Republicans are stupid and never read the bills, they vote for it. The reason they are moving so quickly is because the more the public learns about the bill, the more they oppose it, said University of Michigan policy professor Don Moynihan. And pushing flawed, unpopular bills means that party at times must take unusual and fairly unethical approaches to get legislation through. Republicans spent the past few days trying to exempt Alaska from some of the cuts in the bill and offer the state-specific benefits to win the vote of Senator Lisa Murkowski. I keep turning into Murkowski for some reason. Specific benefits to win the vote of Senator Lisa Murkowski. They also used an accounting gimmick to downplay how much the bill costs. But the problems of our legislative process go beyond the fact that today's Republicans are so extreme and unprincipled. The combination of filibuster and virtually no regulations on campaign spending by the rich and corporations means little legislation passes in Congress, and what makes it through often reflects the priorities of the wealthy instead of the broader public. Who cares about the broader public? Right, Jack, don't do it? Nobody gives a crap. Whenever they control the Senate, both Democrats and Republicans jam as many policies as possible into yearly reconciliation bills that can pass with a simple majority to get around the filibuster. This is terrible for average Americans who could more easily understand and express their opinions on different pieces of legislation being passed gradually instead of mega bills covering a wide range of issues that are voted on at once. I agree. I agree. That's how you win elections, though, huh? We have Republican members of Congress who represent very poor states pushing cuts to Medicaid and corporate taxes, and Democratic members who are passionate about defending Israel and the cryptocurrency industry. Those aren't the priorities of their constituents. When you put all of this together, you end up with legislation that most everyone hates and also knows will almost certainly pass. You can't have a strong democracy with a president and a major party who don't respect election results, or independent institutions such as universities and the media. Yeah, Trump has a whole battle against universities, which is ridiculous, but also wants to stop foreign students from coming into US universities, which is extra ridiculous. But you know, make America great again. But while Trump and other Republicans' politicians are the most obvious problems with the American democracy today, they aren't the only problems. Making America truly democratic will almost certainly require getting rid of the filibusters, super PACs, and other features of modern US politics that we have come to accept as normal. The so wrongfully named Big Beautiful Bill is actually showing how ugly, unaccountable, and unequal our policy-making process has become. So, there we go. Big Beautiful Bill. I wanted to cover some more topics, but I think I might stream during the day because I want to be able to speak a bit louder, and there are topics I want to talk about. There are topics I want to talk about for which I would like to be a little bit louder and not super quiet. Does that make sense? So I think we might finish stream for tonight, and I'll see you all tomorrow maybe. Alright? Are you gonna shout? I might during the day. Alright, but for now I'm going to raid you into someone. I'm going to raid you into Two Guys Talking History, which will start soon. Thank you for coming here. Okay, see you. Thank you for coming to stream. Bye bye. Love to all of you, etc. Bye bye.